Hey guys, welcome to my next YouTube video, and I'm keeping up my amazing YouTube schedule of actually uploading less than weekly. I might be going back to my old days of when I streamed until I got 100 subs. By the way, I'm gonna do that to either 250 subs or 500 subs this summer, so look forward to that. I might actually be doing it on PC instead, so I hope you'll see that if you can. But most of you guys are here to see what the build for the Titan is. So today we're going to be talking about the weapons, the subclass, which if you looked at the title is of course Solar for Titan, and the exotics we're going to be using, weapons and or armor. We are going to have an armor piece, to be exact a chest piece. So it's called Severance Enclosure, a well slept on exotic armor piece. Like, if you see this footage here, it's actually really good. Like, it's way slept on. I recommend it. If you didn't use it before, you should definitely use it after looking at this video and the build. I mean, that's technically what this is for. But yeah, we're going to be using Severance Enclosure. If you want to make some differences with this build, you can make a bit of an adjustment with a different exotic that I'll tell you about after I show you the pieces. But it's basically gonna be about weapons, armor pieces, all that. I'll tell you about the variations you could use with the other exotic and other exotic weapons afterwards. So let's get into the mod. Subclass detail. So basically we're using Middle Tree Sunbreaker. Weapons. We're using Wastelander M5, Sunshot, Teraba if you want to use that as well, Ascendancy, and or Gjallarhorn. Now for the armor mods. We're going to be using Font of Might, Harmonic Siphon, Dynamo, Bountiful Wells, Elemental Time Dilation, Melee Wellmaker, Well of Life, Bomber, and Inferno Whip. Now to basically explain these mods, let's start off with Inferno Whip because that was the last one that was showed. Inferno Whip, I would say, is the best example I could think of for this is in the Valid Disciple raid when you're trying to kill the unstoppable champion that spawns in the first encounter. You usually don't have a way to kill it as fast as normal, and also you don't want to use up your heavy ammo, especially if you're a runner. So instead, you could throw down your hammer and 1-2 punch it to death. I've done it many times, that's the way I normally do it. Very good. Now, Bomber basically just makes it easier to regen your grenades, as well as with Bountiful Wells that give you 2 wells that drop down when you kill an enemy with a melee hit, which it drops down 2 wells because you have Melee Wellmaker on, which is also a seasonal mod, so gives you some points. And there's also Font of Might, which I don't think it shows it here. It does show it here. It basically shows solar weapon boost, so it can do better damage. And if you're not using something like Sunshot and Teraba at the time, you can get in more damage with something like Gjallarhorn, if you have the time. Like, I've used it a few times on Rulk, and it gave me a good amount of extra damage on Titan. I'd say instead of giving 1.8 million, you get 2 million damage instead. And that's for about 2 runs. Like 2 DPS phases. Sorry. But that's basically how the run goes. Now time to explain the alternatives. You could be using Hollow Fire Heart for the other exotic chest piece. And the thing you would need to change for it, which is why I modified it a little. You don't see it though, so you don't need to know how I modified it. But basically, now you can change it so instead of you using Melee Wellmaker, you should change it to Grenade Wellmaker. So you can instead be using more grenades, and still, it's not like Melee Wellmaker is bad at all. It's just that if you're using Hollow Fire Heart, and this is an add clear build, you're going to be using grenades with thermoclastic nades, which basically is the main add clear nade on Titan, since you don't have something like the Warlock grenade that kind of just stays there, kind of like the void grenade that I use in the other build. It still is like not like it's not bad. It's just it's the best thing for ad clear that we have for Titan users. Now I should also make a point that it's not that I'm not gonna make a video on only like one build for one character. I'm gonna do next time a Arc Warlock build, and I already have the full thing done. Like the whole video is done, but I'm gonna upload 3 days from now. It's amazing. Okay, just there's Void 3.0 doesn't mean the other subclasses are bad or performing. So basically, this build is killing ads. It's ad clear. That's all this is made for. It's you hit something with a hammer, everything explodes around it. I recommend use finishers on enemies whenever you get the chance to. You may not get roaring flames because of it, because you do get less roaring flame buildup, but since it's an ad clear build, there's probably gonna be a lot more ads. So, and there is a cooldown, so you probably will be able to still get roaring flames in a good amount. So you still get ×3 and better damage throughout the whole thing, especially since you have a solar weapon boost with elemental time dilation. Oh, sorry, I forgot to talk about that. Where elemental time dilation basically just extendos your healing period with Well of Life, and also your solar weapon boost with Font of Might. So basically buffs you up so you don't die as easily, but you do have to keep up the mods, like so they're still going and the buffs are on you, because if they run out, you're gonna have to run up to somebody and you might have to risk losing health to get the buffs back. So you do have to keep a steady build up with your ad clear, and also making sure you're always hitting something with hammer and or grenade if you are using the other exotic. And now with Ascendancy or Gjallarhorn, it's basically pure preference. You could also use something like Death Adder as an energy weapon instead. It is a very good energy weapon, and it's underrated just because, well, there are better SMGs out right now. And that would be quite true, but we cannot change our primary because 1-2 punch is a needed perk on your primary weapon, your kinetic weapon, because 1-2 punch is what makes this build so useful. You can kill major enemies as easily as you can kill any normal ad because of 1-2 punch. You can shoot them with a shotgun shot and then throw 2 hammers at them and they're dead. And you can do that with anything that's basically a mini boss, anything up to, say, the Lake of Shadows boss. You can do a lot of damage on it. In fact, I've speedran the Lake of Shadows strike in less than 3 minutes before using that strat. It's really fast and does a lot of damage. Now, hammers have been nerfed over this time, so they may seem weaker than they did before, and that's just a result of the game. But other than that, this build is everything you would have really wanted to ask for: ad clear and defense. Thank you. Subscribe.